Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. I wanted to do a little introductory video to introduce me and tell you what I'm about. I started this video as a way to share card readings as well as teach and share about divination and basically working with your intuition. So, my story is I was raised in a Christian home. My parents converted from being Catholics to American Baptists. So, as a result, I was raised in a Baptist home, Baptist church, and school. I went to a Christian academy that was at the church. I was well brainwashed, very well brainwashed. It always felt like I was living a lie. Like there was so much more to spirituality than what I was allowed to know about or believe. So, my first um, time ever being able to have access to divination truly was when I graduated from high school, and then I received a gift from a friend as a graduation present. And this friend had given me a oracle card set. It was like Native American themed. It was something that I was really into, but I had been brainwashed to believe that anything like this was evil or satanic. Basically, trusting in your own intuition, trusting in your own heart is evil, according to Christians in the Bible. So I felt afraid and anxious about it, like I was sinning for even thinking about it or looking at it. I had given myself the opportunity to try to work with it, to try to understand it. And because I was so new to it, because I had no one to teach me, no one to help me, I ended up choosing not to work with it. I went to Bible college for 3 years afterwards, after I graduated from high school, and I got married to an emotionally abusive Christian man. So that was 7 years of feeling like I had no purpose, or I was not following my purpose. So basically my life felt empty because it was wrong. I felt like I was in the wrong thing for my life. Nothing felt right. It felt awful, you know? So in 2008, my father died, and I stopped going to church. I was tired of the hypocrisy. I was tired of the inconsistencies in the Bible and among Christian people. I was tired of their judgment of me for questioning God, religion, and everything I'd ever known. So, after my divorce in 2012, I embraced the study of paganism and divination. I have had 11 years of experience as a pagan and as a card reader. So, 2012, I was basically free to do what I want. Once I got divorced, I was able to pursue what I needed to do. I'd always been drawn to Native American spirituality, and that's the first thing I pursued. That was the thing that felt natural, like something I had always felt pulled into. I always felt that, like, drawn to it. Because I was adopted, I didn't know my background, but I always felt like a connection to the spirituality of Native Americans. And so that's what I pursued first. And I really was into that for a couple of years. But I started to see that there's a lot in Native spirituality that seems to be Christianized. Women aren't really allowed to lead. They're not allowed to do anything on their period, or they are, but they're limited. I felt like this is just very Christianized. I didn't really agree with it. I respected the people who were teaching me, wanted to help me in the native ways, but I just, the longer I was in it, the more unhappy I felt because I knew that this was wrong for me, wrong for my spirit. So I started to branch off from uh, Native American spirituality, and then I started to study paganism and as a whole, and not just one specific belief system, because I didn't know exactly where to go or how to do it or anything. So what I ended up doing was I picked Celtic spirituality, Celtic history, and so I am part Irish, and I started studying my Celtic roots, basically, and I studied the pagan history of it and the pagan spirituality, and that felt good to really connect. I started to feel a sense of pride for just being who I am. I always knew that I was part Irish as an adopted child, and at the time it didn't feel like it was enough. It just felt like one little aspect of me that there had to be a lot more to know about myself. And what pursuing the Celtic spirituality and the Celtic understanding of the history, that really helped me start to connect with who I am. And then, you know, I started to look into other spiritualities later in my life, but I started also to study divination, and I started to study working with pendulums. And I had a deck of cards that I was working with, and actually before that, I was researching what the best deck would be to learn from for a new beginner like myself at the time. And what I ended up doing was choosing something that felt right for me. I would go on forums online and they would say, you know, the Rider-Waite Tarot is the absolute best, the only one you should ever learn from. I didn't like the artwork. I'm not really into the medieval stuff. I mean, it's nice, but it didn't resonate with me. And the artwork was just not my style. And I am an artist, so I do know what sort of art I like, you know. And so I didn't really like the art on that deck, and I didn't like the time period or the specific theme, I guess. So what I ended up doing was going with the Wildwood Tarot, and it is Celtic, and it has a lot of similar themes as the Rider-Waite, the original deck that everyone worked with or would learn from. And the only difference is it would be a more Celtic theme compared to the other deck. So that was great, that really helped me. But I didn't really understand it because tarot is hard and it takes years to really get a good understanding of it. And a lot of people will say they don't want to learn tarot because it's too complicated. And the reason why it can be complicated is because there's a lot of symbolism in the cards. I had to take the time to learn the symbolism in order to understand the cards. I remember trying to read the cards for myself while learning, and I didn't understand the symbolism, so I didn't understand the reading, and I wouldn't understand anything. I would just look at it like, okay, this is interesting. I would read the information, and it seemed to help a little, and that was part of the learning process. But when I got on Instagram and I started to follow a whole bunch of card readers, I started to really pick up a lot of information about reading. So before all that, I got into pendulum work. Now, this is not my original pendulum. This is maybe my third or fourth one I've ever used. Technically, this is not even a pendulum. It's just my necklace that I wear a lot. But because I wear it so much,